All right, it's well, there's a green light. It's Me More Monday. Let's do that. Yeah, it's enough of that because wow, we got a lot to cover and not a whole lot of time to do it. So we're going to start on Trump and Iraq, Iran, Soleimani. So good optics, good shoot. Soleimani was in Iraq. We already talked about this a little bit. It would have been a bigger deal if he had been in Iran. Um, that actually might be World War III, but the optics here. What's what's he doing over there? So Soleimani was a clean shoot, and he deserved to die. There ain't no doubt about that. Let's dig into some more entertaining aspects of this. L.A. Times. Iraq's vote to expel U.S. troops in Iran is Iran's true victory. God, I hate you people. Did did everybody just forget it? What was it? 3 months ago?
2 months ago.
Oh, stupid ad block bull crap. Yeah, fine. I'll let your ads through. Shitbox insider. Trump's decision to abandon the Kurds in Syria sends a dangerous message to U.S. allies around the world. Oh, does it now?
Yeah,
So,
so
we, we, you don't want to get out of the Middle East. You don't want to fight in the Middle East. You, so what you want, Democrats, what you want is to keep U.S. troops stationed in the Middle East and not conduct the war that they're stationed in. So, what are you selling?
Orange Man bad. There's a fantastic headline from the Babylon Bee that came out over the weekend that said, Trump did the right thing, but he's Trump, so I still hate it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's I
yeah,
mean, that's exactly what it is.
that's kind of hard to argue with. Let's just explain you something real quick. Let me explain you something. All right, that's it. That right there. That's all I got to say to you. That's the difference.
I wish I could see it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's quite all right.
Y'all, I done dropped the ball over y'all.
That's
I'll go
okay.
ahead and get this over to Cameron so he can get a chuckle with the rest of us.
Ah,
I mean, it's
ooh,
it's not that complicated. It's really not.
that's good too. Oh, and you know why we didn't drop a Moab on Soleimani?
This is why.
No, because we killed him at the Baghdad airport. We didn't want to drop
Yes.
Moab on Baghdad's airport. Apparently, we put two rockets into the vehicle he was in.
Yeah.
And just, you know,
That's right. We put two rockets into his airplane. We cool, right?
yeah. And then, ironically, we had pictures of Soleimani's body in just a few hours. Do we have pictures of Epstein's body yet?
No. Well, we do have pictures of Epstein's body. What we don't have is any of the video footage. Um. Okay, so yeah, I wasn't planning on talking about Epstein, but that's as good as any segue into Ricky Gervais. But it, interestingly, the cameras were off, like suspiciously off, for a long time when Epstein killed himself. Are you tracking that the cameras were also mysteriously and suspiciously off
The first
the
time he
first
tried to
time he
kill
was
himself,
the first time he tried to kill himself?
tried to kill himself.
The, yeah, what was it? 3 weeks earlier when Tartagliano tried to kill Epstein's self.
I don't think you need air quotes around that one. I think it's entirely possible that the cocaine mob cop just put the hurt on Epstein. For some reason, I don't get it. He's just laying there unresponsive, having trouble breathing. I don't know.
Yeah. So, all right. So on the whole Soleimani thing, it's really not complicated. If you're a Democrat, you're a liar. It's just the two things are synonymous. They're the same thing. You don't you're not interested in getting out of war in the Middle East, and you're not interested in having peace. You're not interested in you were never interested in supporting the Kurds. You just hated that Trump was doing anything at all. And when Trump does something like kill the major terrorist commander in the region, which is a huge boost, a huge pro move for the Kurds, no, no, no. You don't have a base of morality. You don't have a base of principles. You just don't want Trump to do anything good. You hate when Trump does something good. And the fact of the matter is, he hasn't done anything bad that you can actually criticize him for. Every time you criticize something he does, you take the opposite position as soon as it's useful. And that's going to continue to be the case. You don't have a position other than you hate Trump. It's
Yeah.
gross.
Well, I
And
mean,
it makes this just all the more appropriate. And I ain't gonna lie, I get a chuckle out of the Hillary Behind Bars magazine there. That's pretty funny. Dude, I love that rifle.
and look at that trigger discipline. I mean, that's somebody that has shot guns before. Like that's the first thing I look for. It's a small thing, but like when I'm
Yeah.
watching a movie or whatever, and like the soldiers
Yeah,
are
somebody just
running
walking
for
around with his finger in the trigger well. No,
yeah. No,
no.
not the one that gets me is not when they're walking, but when they're running, and I'm
Oh yeah.
like, no, definitely no on that one.
Yeah, and much like my new favorite black sword rifles, this appears to be ambidextrous.
Oh yeah, can't wait till we can talk more about black swords.
Oh my god.
But
Yeah.
you know what it is? It's because it's such a difference in the base philosophy, and I do mean philosophically speaking, in the right and the left. There has been a lot of thought and a lot of study of history and economics that goes into why conservatives. That's funny. See, we can laugh at the Donald. Just make a funny
Yeah.
joke.
This
I mean,
this is somebody's making fun of the Donald.
but it's funny. But no, it's the base difference in philosophy itself. Whereas the right has come to the conclusion that the best thing you can do I mean, really pick any philosophical standpoint. If you want Plato's forms, what's the ideal man? Well, the ideal man has you get out of his way and let him self realize. If you want to look at utilitarianism, well, how do you do the largest amount of good for the largest amount of people? Again, you get out of the individual's way and let the individual man make his own choices. The and this is not something that the left thinks. The right has a tendency to acknowledge the evil in men, but think people are capable of rising above and being good. The left, I'd say, in many ways, is the inverse. The the left thinks that
It's a
people,
trap.
yes, the left thinks that people are good or should be good, but they actually think that evil is going to win the day. We have to tax that corporation because it's evil, because they've got all of those monies and they don't share it with their workers. And if we don't raise the minimum wage, people are going to be screwed forever. And I realize that we're going to see the minimum wage go up to $15 an hour, and we're probably going to see it happen in the next 10 to 20 years. And it's, I'm going on record now. It's going to lead to inflation, and it's going to lead to people losing their jobs. I mean,
Oh
get
no,
you.
no, it's not going to lead to as in a precursor. And I don't think I'm disagreeing with you here, but I want to make sure we're very clear on this. It will be the cause of job losses and inflation. It won't be a precursor. It won't be a predictor. It will be the direct cause.
Yes, yes. But the right thinks about it completely different. If you're 40 years old and you're relying on minimum wage, the problem ain't minimum wage. The problem is you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself why you're relying on minimum wage. And don't give me the, well, there's this super rare exception, like a 1% of a 1% scenario. There are some people that just can't help it. Yes, it's true. Sometimes terrible things happen to good people totally outside of their control. But I'm done having the discussions on the margins. It's like the whole abortion thing. Oh, well, what about rape and incest and all of that? Yeah, you're only accounting for like 3% of abortions. If you could give the left carte blanche, compromise, fine. Okay, forever and ever and ever, rape and incest and all of that. Oh, okay, fine. You can always get an abortion for that. Even up to the 39th week, you can get an abortion for those exceptions. But you
But
can't have,
all elective abortions are illegal. They won't
yeah,
take it.
they would never take that
No.
compromise because they hit you with this stuff about the things on the margins to emotionally confuse you. It's basically throwing a hand grenade into a discussion about hand grenades. And it's,
It's a little drastic, but I'll
but I mean,
take
that's
it.
what it is. It's an emotional bomb, and it disrupts your ability to talk about it. And so, bringing it all the way back around to Trump here, it's how they can absolutely unironically go from why are we pulling out of Syria, even though Obama said that he was going to end all foreign wars and
Didn't.
didn't, and Trump's actually doing it. I mean, if we pop this Iranian general who was a bad dude, um,
Yeah,
and
and
that
let's
actually,
let's not forget if you're going to go to the whataboutisms, Obama ran 2,800 drone strike assassination missions, which whose targets included U.S. citizens abroad.
yeah,
So if Donnie Two Scoops wants to take out an enemy general, I'm good with it. All right, we're running up against time, and I want to mention this before we move on. Ricky Gervais, Golden Globes. Um, oh my God. So, okay, so this is a direct quote, but right before this, go look up the clip. I'm not going to try to run the clip on here because I'll get a copyright strike from somebody, and
yeah.
I just
Even
don't
though
feel
it'll
like doing it
clearly
every
be
day.
fair use, but
Um,
whatever.
but right before this, he said something to all the liberal actors like you guys talk about politics and comment on the culture and talk about you have your moral preening and posturing whatever, but you all work for companies like Apple and Google and Disney. If and he said if the Taliban started a streaming service, you'd be on the phone with your agents. So if you win, come up, accept, excuse me, if you win, come up here, accept your little award tonight. Come up, accept it. Thank your agent and your God, and screw off. No one cares about your views on politics or culture. This might be a play to try and get guys like us to watch the Golden Globes again, which, yeah, good luck. You're good luck.
Yeah, Let me know
But
how that works out for you.
Ricky Gervais in particular has been very outspoken about refusing to apologize for jokes, refusing to not make jokes which might offend someone. Um, he's been in this space for a couple of years now, so I really get the sense that there is some genuine uh, engagement here. That I, guys, I like Ricky Gervais, I like him more and more. And I probably don't agree with him on a lot of politics stuff. I mean, he's a Brit. At
Right.
best, at best, he's politically like a center left. It, probably about like a Tim Pool, like at best, because he's a Brit. Um, I don't know. He maybe as far right as Sargon of Akkad, who still supports universal health care. Um, so I mean, we probably have some disagreements on politics, but that doesn't mean that we can't share something. And I think a good place to start with that is a dedication to the freedom of speech, which only exists in the United States of America. Full stop. And as much as it's being eroded here, the fact of the matter, to the extent that the freedom of speech continues to exist on this planet, it exists exclusively, without exception, in the United States of America. Period. Full stop.
Yeah, you still can't get arrested or fined for saying the wrong thing here. But
In theory.
in theory, yeah. But go ahead and give leftist power. See how long that lasts. And I think it's not just the freedom of speech. I think one of the reasons why they're going after comedy is because comedians themselves have a sort of uncommon clarity of thinking. Because you're really good comedians find ways to point out something new that we all know, or point out a thing that most of us hadn't consciously noticed before, but was somewhere back in our subconscious. And really, what they're talking about is interactions and people. That's all, like, all jokes are descriptions of people and their interactions. It's why there's so much good material about my wife and I, my husband and I, whatever, because it's relatable. And marriage is hard and messy, and sometimes you need to laugh at it. And I think the reason why they're going after comedians is because if comedians are being really honest and they're telling good jokes, they're going to have to make fun of the sacred cow in the room. And you can't make fun of the sacred cow in the room. Well, if your jokes are punching down instead of punching up, they're lazy and they're rooted in bigotry and whatever. Okay, first of all, how do jokes not inherently punch down, just in and of itself? And okay, fine, our jokes are going to always punch up. So what? We're only allowed to make fun of the Queen of England, the President of the United States, and the Pope, and that's it. Like no other jokes are allowed. No, 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 no. Look, the
I noticed Trudeau didn't make your list.
because that may, see, he's Canadian Prime Minister, and
How dare you?
Greta's a good example of this. If making fun of Greta is punching down, I would honestly ask why. I mean, she's traveled the world. She's given a speech in front of the UN. She's been on the cover of Time magazine. She's been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. It's not that big of a stretch to
And that's
say
just
that.
disgusting.
Well, the point that I'm driving at is how big of it is a stretch to say that Greta is more accomplished already before she's 18 than I am at nearly 40 years old? And putting aside the validity of those accomplishments for a moment, just on paper, She is infinitely more accomplished than I will ever be. How is it punching down to make fun of her?
Uh, you got me.
Exactly. Exactly. Or or maybe possibly we can just let jokes be jokes. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, good swing, Ricky. Like there was a lot of funny stuff in your rant there, but I don't think I'm watching award shows. If they're in the same bin as NFL football. Not watching a whole lot of that either. Man,
Yeah,
this is
that's all I've got for you this morning.
yep. And unfortunately, that's all I've got because we running a little bit behind, and I have to
Yeah, we
go
are.
to work.
All right, boys. Time to go to work. Yeah, me too. And we'll see you tomorrow. Y'all be safe out there. All right, brother.
Yep. We'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Bye bye.